Welcome to a deep dive that's a little bit different today. It's a celebration. We're going to be taking a look at the life of Tommy Hrncir as he's getting ready to celebrate a big birthday.
His 70th. On New Year's Day.
Oh, wow. New Year's baby.
Yeah. And we've got this really interesting biographical document, kind of lays out his whole life. And I thought, what better way to celebrate Tommy than to kind of go through it and really explore, all the different chapters and the amazing things he's done.
It sounds fascinating. And it seems like, from what I've seen, we've got family, hard work.
Oh, yeah. Adventure.
A little bit of everything. So where do we even begin with a life like this?
Well, like all good stories, we got to start at the beginning. Right. So Tommy was born January 1st, 1955 in El Campo, Texas.
El Campo, okay.
Now, he wasn't an only child, not by long shot.
Really? Big family.
Big family. Part of a 7 children.
Wow.
Born to Stanley and Alice Hrncir. He had 3 older brothers, Daniel, Stanley Jr., and Bernard. 2 older sisters, Julia and Annette. And then 1 younger brother, Stephen.
Okay, so right in the middle.
Right in the thick of things.
Yeah. So, what was life like for a big family in El Campo back then?
Well, they lived on a farm in Nahilji, Texas.
Okay.
So we're talking raising chickens, cows, crops, grain, sorghum, cotton, corn, the whole 9 yards.
So the classic kind of rural upbringing.
Absolutely. And that kind of environment, it really instills a work ethic in you from a young age.
Oh, yeah, I bet. So, was it all work and no play for young Tommy, or did he find time for some fun?
Oh, there's always time for fun, even on a farm. And speaking of fun, there's this story in the document about a dog.
Uh-oh?
Yeah, I guess a dog bite left a bit of a lasting impression on Tommy. Left a scar, actually, on his arm.
Oh, wow.
A little souvenir from his childhood.
Memento, yeah. It doesn't sound like it was all that fun for him at the time, though.
Probably not at the time. But, that kind of pales in comparison to the time he tried to parachute off the barn roof.
Wait, what? Parachute off the barn roof?
Yeah, using bed sheets.
The sheets? Oh, no.
I know. You can just imagine, right? Young Tommy thinking he's gonna soar through the air.
Yeah, fueled by probably some cartoons.
Probably. Needless to say, it didn't exactly go as planned.
I can imagine. So no serious injuries, though, right? We're laughing about.
No. Thankfully, no serious injuries. Just a funny story to tell. And it really shows, even from that young age, just that adventurous spirit.
Always pushing the boundaries.
Exactly. And that spirit kind of followed him, as he went through school. He went to Louise Elementary, Junior High, Louise High School, all right there in the area.
Okay, so he was a local boy through and through.
Local boy. And it was in high school where his athletic talents really started to shine.
Oh, yeah. What was he into?
Football.
Football, of course.
Yeah.
Texas, gotta be football.
He played both running back and linebacker. And get this, he was so good, he was chosen for the Texas All-Star Game.
Wow. The All-Star Game, that's huge.
Huge. It's like a real testament to his dedication, his skill.
Absolutely. So, was it all football all the time for him in high school? Or were there other things he was passionate about?
Well, you might be surprised to hear this, but he was also a member of the debate club.
Really?
Yeah.
The debate club. So, star athlete and a debater. That's not your typical combination.
Not at all. But there's more. He also played the rock organ in an amateur band.
No way. Okay, so we got a Renaissance man here. Football, debate, rock and roll. This guy did it all.
He really did. Always exploring, always trying new things. And I think that really speaks to who he is,
It does. But high school wasn't all sunshine and roses, was it? The document mentions a pretty significant loss during those years.
You're talking about the SPJST Hall fire?
Yeah, that's the one. It seemed to have a real impact on the whole community.
It did. It was a real gathering place. They had dances there, gatherings, even concerts.
Actually, the document specifically mentions that Tommy had gone to see B.J. Thomas there in the late 60s.
Oh, wow. That's a heck of a memory. But yeah, losing that hall, it was like losing a piece of their history,
It's a big loss. So after high school, what did Tommy do? Did he stay in El Campo?
Well, he went to Wharton County Junior College for a bit.
Okay.
And it's actually around this time that he met a very special someone, Debbie Kutak.
Ah, so this is where the love story begins.
It is. They met at her family's camp house about 5 miles north of Hilgi. Pretty idyllic setting, right?
That's lovely.
And, Things moved pretty quickly from there. Tommy decided to join the Navy.
The Navy. Wow, that's a big decision. What prompted that?
Who knows, maybe a sense of adventure, a desire to serve his country, whatever it was, it took him far from Texas.
Yeah, that's for sure. But he didn't leave Texas alone, did he?
No, he didn't. He and Debbie got married on November 2nd, 1975, at St. Philip's in El Campo.
So, newly married and off to see the world with the Navy. What an exciting time.
Oh, it was. He was stationed first in San Diego, then Long Beach, California, and assigned to the USS Dixie.
The USS Dixie. What kind of ship was that?
It was a destroyer tender, and get this, he was a nuclear technician.
Wow, nuclear technician. That's quite a responsibility.
It is. He was actually building nuclear missiles.
So from a farm in Texas to building nuclear missiles in California, that's quite a leap.
It is, but, Tommy always seemed to rise to the occasion, and it was during this time, while he was in San Diego, that he and Debbie welcomed their first son, Jason, into the world.
So the family was growing. March 1st, 1978. A new chapter begins.
Exactly. And as we'll see, this is just the beginning of their story.
It's amazing how much life can change in just a few short years. I mean, we've gone from a childhood on the farm to the Navy and now fatherhood. What a journey.
And it doesn't stop there. But I think we'll save the rest for the next part of our deep dive.
This is definitely a story you don't want to miss, folks. So stay tuned as we continue our exploration of the incredible life of Tommy Hrncir. Welcome back to our deep dive into the life of Tommy Hrncir. Last time, we left off with him back in El Campo with a young family after his time in the Navy.
Yeah, starting to put down roots again.
It must have been quite an adjustment going from, the structured life of the Navy back to civilian life. What did he do for work?
Well, he put those electrical skills he learned in the Navy to good use.
Oh, right. I remember that. He was a nuclear technician.
That's right. So he got a job at Martin Electric, Inc.
Martin Electric, okay. So back in El Campo, working as an electrician, sounds like a good fit.
It was, and his family kept growing.
Yeah. They had Jason, their son.
Yep, Jason. Then came Christy in 1980.
Another little one.
She was their first daughter, and then a few years later, Sandy came along in 83.
Wow, so a family of 5 now.
Yeah, a busy household for sure.
It must have been. So, with a young family and a new job, was Tommy finding time for anything else? Hobbies, community involvement?
He was. Actually, he found a way to combine his love of football with giving back to the community.
Oh, really? How so?
He became a part-time high school football referee.
A referee? That's awesome. So even though his playing days were over, he was still involved in the game.
Exactly. Giving back to the sport he loved.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So tell me, where was the family living during all of this? Did they settle down in one place?
Well, for a few years, from 79 to 84, they lived in this house on Louise Avenue. The document calls it the Little Greenhouse.
The Little Greenhouse. I love those little details. They really bring the story to life.
I know, right? But then they decided to make a change.
Oh.
They moved to a trailer house.
A trailer house. Interesting. Why the move?
Well, the document doesn't really say, but I guess maybe they needed more space, or maybe they're just looking for something different. But get this, the trailer was near the very spot where Tommy and Debbie first met.
Wait, you mean by her family's camp house?
Yep, that's the one. Just a couple hundred feet from there.
Wow, so back to where it all began.
Pretty amazing, right? Life coming full circle. But, even with a growing family and settling back into life in El Campo, Tommy always had this entrepreneurial spirit about him.
Oh, he did. That doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah.
He always seemed to be someone who was willing to try new things.
Exactly. And in the early 90s, he and Debbie decided to become Amway distributors.
Amway. Interesting. I remember Amway being pretty big back then.
Oh, yeah, it was. And they weren't just, casual distributors. They really went for it. Became quite successful.
Wow, good for them.
Yeah, it seems like they had a real knack for it. Connecting with people, building relationships.
But those are definitely important skills, especially in a business like that.
For sure. But then in the early 2000s, Tommy decided to make another career change.
Oh, what did he do?
He left Martin Electric and became the head electrician at the Hillcorp gas plant in Old Ocean, Texas.
Hillcorp gas plant. So a completely different industry then.
Totally. From residential electrical work to a big industrial plant, quite a change.
It sounds like he really wasn't afraid of a challenge. Always looking for something new.
Absolutely. Always pushing himself. And all those years, even when they were living in the trailer, they had this dream of building their own home.
Oh, wow. The American dream.
Right. And finally, in 2004, their kids were grown up and out of the house, and they decided to make that dream a reality.
So they built a house?
Yep. right there near the spot where the trailer was.
Near the Kutak camp house. That's amazing.
I know, right? And they moved in 2005.
Must felt incredible to finally achieve that dream.
Oh, I bet. And then just a year later, in 2006, they added a swimming pool.
A swimming pool. Well, there you go. Now we're talking luxury.
Funny thing is, Tommy didn't even want the pool. Thought it would be a money pit.
Huh. I can relate to that. Pools can be a lot of work.
He wasn't wrong, but even though he wasn't initially thrilled about it, that pool ended up being the center of so many family gatherings and parties.
Oh, that's sweet. So the reluctant pool owner became the ultimate party host.
Exactly. And, life has its ups and downs, and for Tommy, unfortunately, there were some pretty significant downs during this time.
Oh, what happened?
He lost his mother, Alice, in 2002, and then in 2006, just a few years later, he lost both his father, Stanley, and his brother, Stanley Jr. They passed away within days of each other.
Oh, wow. That's heartbreaking. To lose so many loved ones in such a short time.
It must have been incredibly difficult, but amidst all that grief, there was also so much joy.
Oh, tell me about that.
Grandkids.
Of course. The next generation.
He and Debbie have 8 grandchildren: Keegan, William, Avery, Logan, Lane, Austin, JC, and Julia.
8 grandkids. Wow, that's a big family.
It is, and the document says they are just the absolute light of his life.
Oh, I can imagine. Grandchildren are a special kind of blessing. So what's next for Tommy? Where does the story go from here?
Well, after a long and rewarding career, he finally retired from Hillcorp in 2023.
Retirement. Time to relax and enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's spending time with Debbie, enjoying their home, but don't think he's just sitting around. They've got cruises planned to Alaska and Europe.
Wow. So he's still got that adventurous spirit.
Oh, absolutely. Retirement isn't slowing him down one bit.
That's fantastic. It's inspiring to see someone embracing life to the fullest, no matter what age they are.
It really is. Tommy's story is a reminder that life is a journey, and there's always something new to experience, something to learn, and something to celebrate.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the life of Tommy Hrncir. It's hard to believe we're already at the final part of our exploration.
It's flown by, hasn't it? But we've covered a lot of ground, from those early days on the farm to his adventures in the Navy, his family life, his career, even his not-so-secret love for pool parties.
He's a man of many talents, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But as we're wrapping up, I'm curious, thinking back on everything we've learned about Tommy, what would you say is the biggest takeaway from his story?
That's a good question. There's so much to admire about him, but I think, for me, it's his resilience. His ability to face challenges head-on and come out stronger on the other side.
That's a great point. I mean, think about it. He lost his mother, then his father and brother, all within a few years of each other. That's got to be incredibly tough to deal with.
Absolutely. And yet, he never let it break him. He kept going, kept building his life, kept focusing on the good things.
Like his family.
Exactly. His wife, his kids, those 8 grandkids, they're his world. And you can tell, just from this document, how much love and pride he has for them.
And it's not just family, it's community too. That refereeing, the Amway business, even those pool parties. It's all about connecting with people, building relationships.
He's a true people person, always willing to lend a hand, to be there for others.
And, for someone who achieved so much, built a successful career, raised a family, built his own home, there's also this sense of humility about him. He doesn't seem to take any of it for granted.
Yeah, you're right. He appreciates the simple things, the value of hard work, the importance of family and friends.
And that adventurous spirit, still going strong even in retirement, cruises to Alaska, Europe. I mean, he's not slowing down one bit.
It's inspiring, isn't it? Shows you that age really is just a number. You can keep exploring, keep growing, keep living life to the fullest no matter how old you are.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I think it's safe to say that Tommy Hrncir is living proof that a life well lived is a life full of love, laughter, hard work, a little bit of adventure, and a whole lot of heart.
Absolutely. Happy 70th birthday, Tommy.
Happy birthday, Tommy. And to all of you listening, thanks for joining us on this very special deep dive.
Right.
We hope you've enjoyed getting to know Tommy Hrncir as much as we have. It's been a privilege to share his story with you.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep celebrating the amazing lives all around us.
Happy 75th birthday, Tommy!